Wicked, ruthless, savage. Arne Slot has only been in charge of Liverpool for 3 games now, but the man's already making massive strides. Here are 5 ways that Arne Slot is already transforming Liverpool. But before I get into that, if you haven't subscribed to our new channel, Matchday 365 yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. So Arne Slot is quickly winning over Liverpool fans. 3 games, 3 wins, 3 clean sheets, and a dominating display over their northwest rivals Manchester United. The man's hitting all the right notes already. We've learnt a few things about Slot so far, broken them down into 5 parts, and the first one is just mind-blowing. He does thorough research on every team he comes up against. The game against Manchester United was proof that Slot knew what he was coming up against and came to Old Trafford prepared. And it even shocked Roy Keane in the process. Last season, they were man-marking in the midfield and they had a press with the number 7 and number 11. So with the striker and one of the wingers jumped on him. This season, they are more with a number 9 and number 10 press. So they are more in a 4-4-2. So that's different of course. Yeah baby, he'd really done his homework on these guys. Then you were constantly in a 1-to-1 situation. And that was the case all through the game. On paper at least, it seemed like United and Liverpool had the same tactical setup. Liverpool played through them, bypassed the midfield and created overloads to win the ball back and a high press that worked. What Slot had already given him an idea of how United was going to play. In the 3 games they won this season, they've all come in different balls. 63% possession versus Ipswich Town, 37% possession versus Brentford, and 47% possession versus United. The man is calculating his approach and is paying off. The midfield balance has been superb so far, something that seemed to be a mismatch towards the end of Klopp's tenure. And that's the second thing we've noticed about Slot. The midfield has a nice technical balance to it, and that's because that's how Slot wants it. Arne Slot prefers his midfield trio to be a mix of everything, and there's one change that's been standing out the most. When he first came to the club, everyone thought he was going to be the midfield fix at Liverpool. Heck, we even did a video about him. It would have been impossible to see Wataru Endo getting on the bench for Liverpool after coming in to fix that holding midfield lapse last season. But the reality is, he can't get into the team, and that's because of the form of this guy. Ryan Gravenberg has been sensational so far. Among the Liverpool players this season, Gravenberg ranks first for the most duels won with 17, the most interceptions with 7, third for the most passes complete with 156, final third passes complete with 143, and take-ons complete with 3. He's the perfect idea of what Slot wants in midfield, a mix of everything. It's not just him too. Everyone knows how technically gifted Dominic Szoboszlai was. But this season under Slot, he's added more energy to his game. In the match against Manchester United, he was full of it. Ranked in first for the most distance covered at 11.7 kilometres, completed the most sprints with 24, won possession 10 times, the most in the game, and created the most chances with 3. In all these categories, he ranked first combined with both Liverpool and Manchester United players. Combine these two with Alexis McAllister, a player who can play comfortably either as a 6, 8 or 10, and the technical ability and balance of that Liverpool midfield is a cheat code. They're not just gifted on the ball, they're also strong enough to dive into tackles off it and win possession back. That's why Slot is adamant all his players are dominant in the duels. With the schedule they have and different competitions coming up, it won't be surprising to see Slot attempt to switch it up a bit in certain games. But for now, the midfield combination is working magic. Another thing we've noticed about Slot is that he isn't afraid to make big decisions when he needs to. The man is ruthless. Going back to the opening game of the season versus Ipswich Town, at the start of the second half, there was a notable change in the lineup that indicated Slot wasn't going to be wasting any time in getting his ideas across. Jarrell Quansah, a breakout star from the previous season under Klopp, was having a below average performance. He was losing aerial duels, getting caught out of position, and by half time, Slot was done. He took him off and brought in Ibrahima Konate, and has stuck with the pairing of Konate and Virgil van Dijk ever since. I'm not saying Quansah automatically starts over Konate and Van Dijk, but the point is, something like this would most likely not have happened under Klopp. Again, not comparing the two, but while Jurgen is a nice guy who everyone loves and wants those Klopp guys from, Slot is straight to the point and very businesslike, and once he sees something that needs fixing, he identifies it and solves it. So we're halfway through, and if you still haven't subscribed to Matchday 365, smash that subscribe button below. Arne Slot is firm too. In Liverpool's league game versus Brentford, he took off Trent Alexander-Arnold, and the Liverpool vice-captain wasn't too happy about it. Trent wasn't having a bad game, but Slot took him off because he wanted to protect him and made sure that Trent understood this right after. He's not afraid to make big calls. Even with his starting lineup, he's already showing that. Darwin Núñez featured a lot for Liverpool last season. 3 games in, and the best he's been able to make have been substitute appearances, even in the transfer market. He was on another ruthless streak as well. After his performance in pre-season, scoring 2 goals in the process, a lot of people genuinely thought that Fabio Carvalho would be one to watch for Liverpool this season. If you're watching him in the Premier League now, he's playing for another team, Brentford, and that's because Slot sold him. Out of the team and the setup, just like that. As firm as he is tough, Slot's pretty good at putting up a coordinated unit together, bringing us to the 4th thing we've noticed about Slot so far. He's very good at communicating his ideas to his team. He gets involved in everything. The training videos in his first sessions at the club show it. Wasn't just telling the team to kill the opposition with passes, he was showing them how to kill the opposition with passes as well. The idea behind forming those little triangles and close-knitted passes is so the players understand each other, know when to pass,